Don't fall asleep on us, Carol.
No, I won't.
We miss
Okay.
you. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Today is January the 13th, 2021. It's our first Economic Development Commission meeting. We are all here. Can we start off with a review of our last minutes, which are from, 2 months ago, right? November?
November 4th, yes, because we didn't have a meeting in December
Correct.
That's right, we didn't have a
with the holidays.
December meeting.
COVID, and I think those weather thrown in there too, wasn't there?
All sorts of fun obstacles.
Everything.
Yeah, we had a storm around that time also. But anyhow, we can just get through these minutes. It was Luke, Bob, myself, and Carol by Zoom, as it is tonight. We approved the October 7th meeting. We had a slight modification to it, but we got that approved. Let's see, we had notifications and visits to our businesses concerning the COVID-19 grants, the state grants. We discussed those, and we counted up that we had at least talked to 17 businesses between the group of us here. And let's say we will be, Bob, you were going to be responsible to get the DPW message board to display this grant, and
He
that
did.
worked.
That
Yeah.
did happen. You must have drove by it. I know I
Yeah.
drove by it.
That was great. And then, Bob, you reported that we weren't the final selection in the medical drug manufacturing site. And we did make the top three, but not the final.
Yeah, let me just add to that, and
Sure.
not to rearrange the meetings, but there were 41 potential sites. To make it to the top three, I think, was an honor. We had no business in the top three. And the reason I say that is the driving force to this final selection was cost. And being in New England, this type of manufacturing, costs are high. Had it been a drug development center, which would include high-priced clinic people to develop these drugs, we would be in the running, because that's all that's being built in Worcester and Westboro right now is not the manufacturing, but the design of these drugs, the implementation, the testing. That's where we shine. This was not one of those. This was a manufacturing period. So we were at a disadvantage at number 41 to begin with. To make it to the top three, I think, was a distinct honor, because we, like I said, we had no business being there with the region's cost structure. So hopefully the word is out there that we're open for business, and this makes an attraction to somebody. And I'm sorry for interrupting, but I just wanted to add to that one.
Okay, and then the last thing in our meeting of November 4th was that we talked about the charter of the EDC and purpose. We had a general discussion, and I think it wound up that Luke was going to look into the permitting process, see if there's a checklist of some sort, and or if there's some assistance in that area. And meeting adjourned at 7:40.
Okay, well, I did look into that. I do have a checklist of some basic permitting things, but it's not really, it doesn't really satisfy what we were going for at that meeting. Right? I think that's the type of checklist we're going to have to sit down with the other boards and develop custom to our situation. So the stuff that I have here is like very, very basic. Do you have your business license? Check.
This is a subdivision checklist that the
Okay.
building department uses.
Perfect.
There's also one for special permitting. These are the specific checklist. You could do a preliminary checklist like licenses and stuff like that, insurance bonds, but that's part of this process to present all that stuff on that final draft. This, by the way, will be included in that new position that the town has created, voted for and approved, that Economic Development Project Coordinator. So that stuff might be shifting to that position.
That'd be good.
And that member will be a participant, maybe not a member of the EDC, but a participant at all meetings. Similar to Bill Cundiff with the planning board. He's at every planning board meeting, but not a voting person.
Right, he works as an advisor to the planning board or as
He gives a lot of input to the planning board. He's the town engineer, he has to.
right.
Bob, how many hours is that? Do you know? Is it a full-time job, part-time, or?
It's predicated on 19 hours a week.
Okay. So it's a part-time job, probably
Yeah.
part-time benefits, but
Which is about what someone's putting in right now.
Oh, no names, no names.
well, I'm glad to see the town do that.
Yeah, I am too. It's,
Yeah, it's necessary.
to ask a volunteer to put in, there were some weeks where 40 hours were going in, and more than people in this town.
For sure.
To ask a volunteer to do that, I think is just not a lot.
To be fair, nobody asked the volunteer to do that.
Right.
He's just a maniac and did it all himself. But we're very grateful.
Work ethic.
Thank you very much.
Slovak, Carol.
So,
I'm trying to hear, I can't get my computer up that high.
oh,
There's a little icon on the bottom. Did you
Yeah, I
find?
know, I got it pushed all the way, but it's not that loud.
do you want us to just yell louder?
We can shout.
Yeah, that's okay, I'm putting my ear close.
Okay, so next up on the agenda, we have the COVID-19 grant program, some relief for the small businesses last year that were affected by COVID-19. I know everybody here reached out to a few businesses, right?
Well, that's the last one, right?
This is the one, it's still open actually for another
Right,
couple
to the
days.
15th.
It's open until the 15th. So Zoe and I went through this list of businesses and filtered them out to the ones that we thought were most likely to be eligible for the grant. And we contacted all of them. So that's like, I don't know, 20 or 30 of them.
Wow.
So if you want to take a look at that list and see if there are any glaring, people we missed that we should reach out to, there's still 2 days left. So take a look at that.
Now, you applied for one of them. Have you heard anything?
I wasn't eligible. I applied for the original one, the first one that came out, and I
And that's
wasn't
the
eligible.
feedback I'm getting when I approach these businesses on this last round. How did you make out on rounds 1, 2, and 3?
Yep.
Ineligible.
I talked to one other person in another town that did get some funds from that first round. I don't know what made her eligible and me not.
I don't know. I'd like to know where this money was going, because it sure in hell was not Douglas.
Well, hopefully we do better on this round, right?
And there's another one coming up. This was in Sunday's Telegram. House Bill H 5250, $626 million for economic development. I underlined a few items that would affect Douglas. Economic development package, which we could use. Community development, lending institutions to extend capital to small businesses with a focus on minority and woman-owned businesses. So, I don't know if we have minority, but picket fence is female-owned.
Yep.
So there's a plus right there. 102 million for local economic development projects, which we should qualify for that.
As a board or as the town?
As a town, I'll talk about that project towards the end of this meeting. 20 million for a competitive grant fund dedicated to supporting community developed infrastructure projects, which is really what I'm highlighting. Our infrastructure is in sad shape. And that's it. So hopefully we can get some of this 626 million. I'd like to get all of it, but
Something, get some money to somebody at least.
Because you know what, I was thinking, these ones that we've submitted them to, and the first one, the second one we did, if we did get anything, it'd be good to make it public notice, that
Right.
get the word out.
that was the one with Webster, right? With Carol Sear?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought, okay. Or was that the second one? Because wasn't the first one we went out, the second one where we needed 10 more people?
I think they were the same grant.
same one?
I think they were the same, but it was split into like a preliminary round to gauge interest or something, and then there was another actual application process. It didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but I did talk to Webster about it.
Just got answering machines and,
My first round wasn't so good.
People don't love it. People don't love it when you call them. It does sound very scammy when you're like, oh, hey, there's a grant opportunity. I'd be freaked out
Well,
too.
and that's probably not the first phone call they got either. You were probably the 20th call. The first 19 were scams.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah. And it's almost like you have to show up in person, and then it's still scary for these people to be knocking on a door.
Yep.
Right. If they know your face, they'll talk to you and all that, like the
Right.
pizza place, but if it's somebody who doesn't know you,
Carry your business cards, because that's got the.
The
town
EDC
numbers,
EDC
on it.
cards, right.
Have you ordered any? We need to get a set for Lou, Scott.
Scott, all right. Let me remember how we ordered those. I don't remember
Just
if
go
I designed
through,
them or if Chris designed them, but I'll find out for you.
Go through Maria.
Maria. Get business
Maria Woodrow.
cards. Or Scott.
but if somebody does get approval and starts to get funds, if we find out about it, I think it'd be good to see if they want to let it get publicized a little bit, and then more
Yeah.
people will
Yeah, absolutely.
go after these.
Yeah, and make sure EDC announces.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
Publicity for us.
All right.
And that way
So,
when we knock on a door, hey, you're the people.
oh, you're the EDC people.
Yeah.
I heard about you on the internet.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we actually have Scott. I forgot to announce. Scott's now an official member of the Economic Development Commission, right? You're a voting member now?
Yes.
First meeting, congratulations.
First meeting, welcome. It's good to have you.
Yay, good to have you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your help so far. It's been great. And also, we have another notification, right? Another announcement, Mr. Secretary?
Yeah, after 21 years, I've decided that I'm going to call it quits with the EDC.
Sad to see you go.
Well, it's been a good run, and I'm glad it's kept going, because before we had the EDC, there was an IDC, but it never really if it materialized, it didn't last long, I mean, it was a good idea. They probably tried to get businesses in, but all of a sudden it petered out. But we seem to be sustaining ourselves,
Trying.
So I decided to give it, I had a couple of other opportunities come up, one at church and then one with the library here, to work on their projects and be part of their boards and stuff. And so I said, gee, I really can't do that, and it's about time for me to,
20 years is a long
Quit this.
time. I don't want to be here in 20
Yeah.
years.
well, the 21 years, and Carol's been on it just as long as I
You and I
have.
have been there same amount of time, Paul.
Yeah, we have.
Wow.
You got anything you want to tell us, Carol?
You know what I want to say? I want to say that I think, the economy and everything is going, and I want to thank Bob and Eric for really putting the flames under everything. He's been fantastic.
Well, I
Yeah.
thank you for the comment.
I'll ditto that. Yeah, so the 21 years, that's master plan plus EDC. The master,
Oh,
the
okay.
master plan was 2000, I think, when we
Yeah.
really got strong on that. And then that led into this EDC. Actually, the
Now,
master,
it might be time for the master plan or some tweaking of all of that and the zoning to go on again, I think.
yeah, that would be good.
I think it's time for some updating.
I agree.
So the master plan has a couple of hundred pages, and I was looking at it tonight, and 33 of those pages are related to economic development.
Oh, wow.
We needed economic development, and they addressed it in a whole bunch of different ways. And I think there's, the 87 recommendations, I think 9 or 10 of them had to do with zoning changes for business. Forming an EDC was one of them. Redoing more zones and setting up better utilities for business. So anyhow, that was,
Well, we have taken on rezone the last 2 years.
we've done a lot of good.
One is going to pay big dividends here pretty soon. The first rezone we did on Davis Street,
Yes.
that 1,500 feet from RA to industrial, that's going to be huge returns here within a few weeks.
That's
Well-
good to hear.
Paul, I'm sorry to see you go.
So my one thing is that if you need help with projects like getting things out to businesses or stuff like that, I'm willing to help out,
Appreciate that.
you know?
I don't mind calling you up.
Yeah.
I gave Paul on the phone. Call him up.
No, I can do that. I'm retired, so during the daytime, I can visit a few businesses.
We'll drop by the library and we'll give you a list, just a
Yeah.
spreadsheet of numbers to call. Let us know when it's done.
Well, hopefully we get some
Are you
go-getters.
totally retired, Paul?
I work one day a month as a
I
consultant.
do it. You're like me. You're not gonna totally retire.
No, you got to keep busy.
Carol, you are not retired.
No, I know it.
Not from what I see. You're just not in the gravel pit anymore, you're elsewhere.
That's it.
All right.
Well, kudos to the both of you, 20 years.
It's a long time to
Kudos.
thanklessly serve a town.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. Mr. Vice Chairman, updates on other ongoing business.
Let's see, I'll give you an update on the 1 million square foot warehouse. That is a complicated project. It's not as simple as putting a 26-acre building on McIntyre Loom gravel pit. We have to find a new home for McIntyre before we can proceed with the empty lot.
Yeah.
So with that process, finding him a new home and the purchase and sale agreements on the existing, there's 4 purchase and sale agreements. One was just done last week. There's 3 remaining. They are in the process of completion, so hopefully within 2-3 weeks, we should have all purchase and sale agreements done. Then it's off to the races. Which brings me up to the second point, infrastructure. The 1 million square foot warehouse will require water sewer upgrades along Gilboa Street, along North Street, from Main Street to the bridge, and Northeast Main Street. They have to create a 12-inch water main loop just for fire suppression. That's about a $3 million project. A, who's going to pay for it? B, who's going to do it?
Do we have $3 million to pay for it?
We don't.
We, the town, like
Town.
Doug- town?
I don't know if the town has got it.
With that said, I got myself onto the Water Sewer Commissioners meeting tomorrow night as a business unanticipated in the last 48 hours. This came out of a meeting yesterday, that's why I'm bringing it up tonight, and it's not on our agenda. This came out of a heavy meeting yesterday. We need to get going on this, and it was proposed that the EDC approaches the Water Sewer Commissioners. Due to the COVID-19, I would say we shouldn't have a joint meeting, for distancing and stuff like that. I've already reached out to those people. It's just a matter of getting on their agenda and proposing what we have to do, because that is going to be in front of us. Now, if it involves an article on the town meeting, the warrant, May 3rd, and I'm sure it will, because it will be probably a $250,000 engineering item, 20% of the cost. That has to be voted on by the voters. I don't see why they would not vote for it. Not when you're getting over $1 million in tax revenue each year. We will pay for the water sewer upgrades, and it's been on, we had that joint meeting with them, and they told us that was one of their 3 wish list projects.
Yeah.
Davis Street, water sewer, 1. Gilboa Street, 2, and up North Street would be number 3. We can fulfill one of their wish list items right now. Now, how do we pay for it? Well, we can go with a MassWorks grant, where MassWorks pays for 50% of it. So we would pay for $1.5 million, they would pay for $1.5 million. But the kicker to that is you have to front the $3 million initially.
pay back.
They just reimburse you. Do we have that? That's not my call. I'll have to sit down with some higher-ups within the town.
Do we ever borrow money for things like that?
That will probably happen. The other way is we can have the construction company who's building the warehouse do it, and then we pay them back with a TIF. That's a possibility. That's been thrown around. The other possibility is just have our town do it. We hire a crew. Put them on payroll, put them on town payroll, have them do it. That's not desirable, but
Why?
it's a possibility.
That seems like the best option to me. Why isn't it desirable?
Well, then you have to lay off the people at the end.
Do you? We can't find stuff for them to do?
If you found a crew that wants to do this temporary.
Volunteers.
Yeah, volunteers.
Oh, yeah.
EDC will volunteer.
That'd be great.
Yeah, right.
You don't want me working on the bridges.
Yeah, the tip option sounds
The
pretty good.
TIF option sounds good, where there's no money up front.
We don't get our 1 million a year revenue because that comes out of that.
But we're paying for a $3 million project that we can't afford.
Yes.
And that has always been the problem with every potential customer I've talked to. I had a warehouse company, they have a 300,000 square foot warehouse in Bellingham. They want to build a 600,000. We have a spot for them. The first question, do you have water, sewer, and natural gas in the area?
Right.
No, no, and no. We don't even have natural gas in the town of Douglas. So.
I thought we had it up at the school. Up at the school, there's no gas?
Do not have natural gas in Douglas. Every town around us has it. Webster, Oxford has National Grid supplying natural gas. Sutton, Upton, Uxbridge, they have Eversource. It will be coming, let me just say that. I've been
Sutton's
negotiating
got
with
it, right?
Eversource, yeah.
Up north.
I've been negotiating with Eversource, and it's on hold right now. Once some final P&Ss are done with the warehouse, they'll be making headway with that. So,
Well, that's not a cheap process either, right? Or would
Oh,
Eversource
no.
pay for all of that?
no, but that's on them, that's not us. That's on them. They look at return on their buck, but when you put in a 1 million square foot warehouse,
They're
there-
gonna make
there's a
some-
demand.
So it come down from Sutton?
Come down from Sutton or Lackey Dam Road. If you've traveled to the center of Northbridge now, we're, Carol, what's that street that comes out of Sutton to Lackey Dam Road?
Goes up to,
Oakhurst.
Oakhurst.
Oakhurst Farm.
Oakhurst.
Right.
They ran natural,
Come down there and down Lackey Dam Road.
yep, and they're by your place already, right?
Yes, they have gone by there. It's on by Pickles Point.
Okay, and Carol's place of business, and then Berkowitz is right there. They've already run 12-inch main down that street. So it's just a matter of them running it the other way into Douglas.
that's Oakhurst, that's where the Sutton Animal Hospital is, up that street?
That's
Yeah,
correct.
yeah, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, 'cause I know that's all, it's dug up. I thought it was sewers or something like that,
No,
but it's
that's,
gas.
that was natural gas.
That'll be so good for the town.
Oh,
Yeah.
it will be. We'll be making history.
We'll see, we'll see. I hope so. I hope you're right, sir.
Yeah.
I really do.
I do too. We need it.
All right, do we
So
have
with
it?
that said, I just want to get an okay or input from all of you that it's okay for me to attend this meeting tomorrow night representing the EDC, speaking on behalf of the EDC.
Does somebody want to make that motion?
Yeah, I'll make that motion. It's
Excellent.
one of my last, okay, yeah, my motion is that we authorize Bob to speak on behalf of the EDC at the meeting with Waterworks, with the Water Sewer
Water Sewer Commissioner.
Commissioner.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, Mr. Duncan, all in favor? We have to do this by roll call.
I'll recuse myself.
Bob's recused.
Aye.
Peterson, aye.
Aye.
Carol
Scott-
Godwinski, aye.
Okay.
Scott Duncan, aye.
Pass
Luke McNeil,
unanimously.
aye.
4-0.
Passes unanimously. Bob, you are our voice, sir.
And I'll report back to you at the next meeting.
We trust you implicitly.
Thank you.
Also, we have here an application from Nicholas. I'm not even going to try to say the last name. Nicholas has sent in his application to fill Mr. Peterson's spot.
Is that him up there?
Is he here?
Yeah, it is me.
Hi, Nick.
Oh, okay, hi.
Are you Nick or Nicholas?
Yeah, Nick is fine. And it's Joe and Edie. No one can ever pronounce it the first time around, but once you get it.
Joe and
it's
Edie.
easy.
You're just a little picture on our screen here, Nick.
Nick, Joe, and Edie.
I'm not quite sure why, but it's, you're not moving either, so I think it's just your audio, right?
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, it's just my audio.
Okay.
Okay,
I can throw my camera.
Fire it up.
there you go.
Yeah, we
Hi.
got, now we know who you are.
Hey,
Now we can put
Tell
a,
us something about yourself, Nicholas.
so, yeah, I guess I can start with job stuff. So if my voice is hoarse, I'm like 90% sure I have COVID.
Oh, no.
awful.
He's out. Next.
My wife just tested positive, and I'm definitely getting symptoms. So that's what it is. So I'm
Sorry to hear that.
talking
Yeah.
right now. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so today I'm working as an engineering director at Mobiquity. I've been, kind of steadily rising through the ranks there, done a fair amount, bringing more revenue in, growing the business, stuff like that. And I've always kind of had an interest in, government and politics and stuff like that, and also kind of helping out and giving back. And so, with my contributions to the business that I'm currently in, I feel as though maybe I'm a good fit for contributing to the economic development of Douglas. And I just wanted to kind of throw my hat in the ring. All this stuff sounds super interesting. I don't know much about the warehouse that's going up. This is the first time I'm hearing about it, but million square foot warehouse is big news for Douglas. So that's awesome.
Excellent. Have you ever served on a board of any kind before?
No, I haven't. This would be, I'm very new to this. So, certainly.
That's okay.
How long have you lived in Douglas?
About 3 years.
3 years?
Well, we thank you for your interest.
So I sit on a board, the engineering leadership board of my company, and it's all the engineering leads. It's we report up to the CTO, and so we run all of engineering and business lines and stuff like that. So I've certainly been in a decision-making role for a number of years at this point. But in terms of a government board, no, I have not.
You attended the,
What's your company that you work for?
It's we're tech consultants. So we have, we help companies kind of like pivot in the digital age. How do we kind of take advantage of all the advantages that digital can provide us? And it's been especially important over this past year with COVID. One of the places that we work with is Wawa, which is not local. It's down in Philly, and that area. But it's basically a convenience store, and they
Very familiar with it. My
Oh,
son
my
lives in New
God.
Jersey.
If you can get a Wawa, if you can get a Wawa up here, that'd be great.
yeah, that would be awesome.
In Douglas, maybe, that would be good.
They're all over New Jersey.
Yeah, they don't come up this far, unfortunately, yet.
No.
Maybe, well, they have good hoagies. But one of the things that they were trying to do is, how can we make the experience touchless? So we can reduce risk for people like getting gas and things like that. So we built something for them that, people can just drive up to the pump. They don't have to get out of the car, roll down their window, anything like that. They can just hit a button on their app, pay, someone will come out, pump their gas, and it reduces risk for everybody involved, and it's a good experience. And we do a number of things like that. So that's, in short, what our company is.
cool. I see you were attending the cultural council meetings too?
Yes. Yeah, I went to one, was it last week, I think? Week before last?
I don't know.
Most recently.
Are you also interested in joining that board?
I am.
So you're thinking about joining both boards? Is there one that you, I mean, I'm not saying you can't join both, but is there one that you're more interested in?
I am interested in both. If I had to choose, it would probably be this one because the Cultural Council meets like 3 times a year. So it doesn't seem all too involved. So I would like to play a little bit more of a role than, you know, I think cultural stuff is important, but 3 times a year is a little less than I was expected to contribute.
Yeah, this is where the action is.
Yeah. It's important to the town because we need more business to support our tax rate, because presently there's an awful lot of residents' taxes, and to balance the budget with some business taxes would be great.
Yeah,
Also,
we
great
have a
jobs.
4% commercial base, 96% residential,
Yeah.
which is awful.
Yeah.
Most towns enjoy 15 to 20% commercial. We're sitting at 4.
4% is bad.
Now, the million square foot warehouse is going to get us in the double digits, one
Really?
project.
That would be good.
Yeah, I've noticed there's hardly any retail here either, which is surprising.
We got pizza.
The other thing that I was noticing is that we have, you know, I feel like we have potential to be a bit of a tourist spot with the State Forest and Wallem Lake and all that fun stuff, and not seeing that we capitalize on that all too much. And I was reading back on some of the, you know, there was a bit of consternation, I guess, between us, the town of Douglas, and, you know, the state.
DCR,
It's state land and so on. I was just, you know, trying to wrap my head around what's going on locally. But that was one, you know, potential opportunity that I saw. You know, how can we kind of understand how much more traffic that generates during the summer months, for instance, and how can we strategically, you know, facilitate, you know, maybe retail, maybe something else, in an area that sees increased traffic. I don't know if we're doing that already or what. I'm coming into this totally green. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you'll find out. There's lots to learn. I mean, if it's not already being done, though, there's a pretty good reason that nobody's barking up that tree at the moment.
well, the only attraction we have with the state forest is Wallem Park, correct?
Yeah, and the trails.
Yep.
There's all the trails through
And the
the,
trails, but the
Please.
trails are free, there's no.
You have to pay to park
generated,
there.
No revenue generated. Now, Wallem Lake, there is revenue there, but if you remember, 3 years ago,
Goes to the
that was
state, right?
that was a bad experience. Overcrowded, neighbors' lawns getting run over, trash. They had signs at the highway building, no more standby list, pockets full, go home.
yeah.
And it taxes our police. Who's the first one they call? Douglas Police. It's a state forest, they should be calling the state cops.
Right, and we don't have a lot for resources up there to add retail establishments. There's no power, water, sewer stuff up in that area.
That's been talked about, what you're talking about, though, Nick, and a lot of, it would be options for sporting shops and little restaurant-type
Strip
things,
malls.
whatever.
REI.
Yeah. Also, they seem to be getting more use, the hiking trails do.
Yeah.
Now, during COVID, there's a lot of action up there.
A lot of hikers up in the woods now during COVID. I even went.
Yeah, that's kind of where, you know, since we don't charge for the trails, that kind of brings people in. They don't have to spend money there, but they can spend money potentially at local establishments. And, you know, while it's not a direct, we're making money from the park, since it's state-owned, we can't do that, I think. I don't know this stuff, I'm trying to learn as I go. You know, helping facilitate that retail or stuff, it would help, but you said there's no water sewer stuff, there's obstacles. So,
Just because I remember saying the same exact thing at my first EDC meeting. And being like, oh, all right, you did think of that, I guess. Shit. All right, well, very nice to meet you. Would you, this board, like to take a vote right now to recommend this gentleman to the EDC to take Paul's place?
I'll make a recommendation
I'll second it.
that he replace Paul.
All in favor? We have to do roll call? Paul?
In
Bill
favor.
Kowalski, aye.
Scott Duncan, aye.
Manerick, aye.
And McNeil, aye. So we will let Suzanne know, and we can make this recommendation, and then the selectmen will also discuss, and would be the next people that would either appoint or not appoint you, right? So good luck to you, sir. Thanks for your interest.
Hope you're feeling better soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah,
Yeah, Nick, thanks for volunteering.
Thank you, Nick.
appreciate it.
Thanks.
Now, so we don't get into the same Brad Maltz deal, you'll have to do a.
He already has.
You already have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, we're all good.
good.
So that's all we have on the agenda tonight. Does anybody else have any burning desire to speak or bring anything else up this evening?
Were there more items on that agenda?
No?
Have we figured out about fueling for the warehouse? Have we done anything with that?
That would be the natural gas, right?
No, gas, like diesel for the
Diesel
truck,
fuel.
for the trucks.
I am mentioning that in introductory talks right now. I don't know where we would put a fueling station. Shell, by the way, is doubling their size. They bought that vacant lot next door. They are doubling their size. I don't even know if they're, rumor has it, there might even be a car wash going in there, which is bad for us, because now.
Not the same one we were,
No, I don't think so. It'd be run by them. That would be the perfect place for a diesel place
But that doesn't do anything
for Douglas.
for Douglas.
That's in Uxbridge. The other piece is if you go behind the Shell station, which is the old Lackey Dam Road, which is.
Goes down
dead
to
end.
the.
There's a big
wetland.
gravel pit down there. That would be a nice place for extra truck parking, diesel farm, again, Uxbridge. I'm trying to find a place for this in Douglas, because the other warehouse is going in on the Tri-Town lot, Blackstone Logistics Center, on Mary Bedoin's property, across Pine Sand and Gravel, across 146 in Uxbridge. There's a 650,000 square foot warehouse we're involved in going there. Douglas has about 20% ownership of that piece. Minor, but still revenue.
yep.
Between, though, they were forecasting, I want to say 53 trucks a day, an hour.
An hour? 53 an hour?
53 an hour.
53 an hour?
That's what I heard.
It's one every minute.
Yep,
That's unbelievable.
That doesn't even sound possible.
650,000.
That's a truck almost every minute.
Right.
Yep,
It's like a train.
it is.
It's like a train.
Now you throw in Medline down the street and the one that's going on Serendipity, this section of 146 is going to be very busy.
Oh, I can see that.
They've already proposed $3 million of roundabouts at exit 3. They're going to redesign that, just to handle this truck traffic.
Yeah.
I assume the same thing's coming to exit 4. I can only assume. With that said, that many trucks, Scott brings up a good point.
Gotta
Penny a
get gas
gallon,
somewhere.
we will be rich.
I think the town would be able to survive off a penny a gallon out of the
A while back,
warehouse.
didn't we talk about a fueling station on the corner of North and Gilboa there? Like right at the Four Corners?
Well, we want to get it as close to the interchange as we can, for the simple reason, it'll be a line of truck traffic. But Gilboa Street will not handle that truck traffic. If it's just the trucks, the cabs coming down, fine, but if they're pulling a 50-foot, 53-foot trailer and getting fuel, that line will extend into Northbridge. The best place for a fueling station is right at at the warehouse.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, just put a big tank in there that'll be above ground maybe, and you have the fuel in that.
But then we don't get a piece of it, right?
Well, yeah, if
It
it
would be private.
was theirs, it would be private,
Right.
right? No, because it would be road tax.
We could work out a deal with them.
Okay.
I mean, all your restaurants are private. We have a Douglas Meals tax. There's no reason we can't put a fuel tax, 1%, 1 penny per gallon.
Just on diesel fuel or on all
You sure
gas?
that's legal, Bob? I don't know about that one.
We can check.
Well, I can look into
Good
that.
idea.
Yeah, I got a feeling that, I don't think that, they pretty well set up how that fuel tax goes and,
Because I
I
know
used to have
there's,
to pay into it all the time.
There's-
There's a change to pay into it and stuff.
there's state and federal on there right now.
Right, a state and federal, exactly. And I think that the state would have to put in a law to allow you to do it, municipality. I don't think that's something that's legal right now.
I'll look into that.
Yeah.
Bob will make it legal. That's what Bob does.
I'll call Baker tomorrow.
Sure you'd be happy to hear from you, sir.
Well, it's a good project for Paul.
I don't think you're a scammer.
He'd call from the library.
Yep.
Yeah, we can do that.
Very good. Well, with nothing left on the agenda, do we have a motion to end this fine meeting?
No, I move we,
Adjourn?
okay, I'll second that.
All right, very good. All in favor?
Aye.
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 We're good, sir. Cable man?
Okay.
Let's pull the plug.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks,